This is Life Elementally, and so we're just going to go through some miscellaneous things that matter, and then discuss them. Time is the expression of your own truth, the consequences of your own decisions, or the realities imposed by the decisions of others. In other words, you can't control everything, but you can control yourself. You can control your own body. You can, it's yours. It doesn't belong to anybody else. And if they take it from you, they are at fault because it is only yours. And you may do with it what you want to. It's not a game. It's yours. To interfere with life in any form is to interfere with eternity. Life has its own decree and its own purpose. So we should not make decisions that interfere with that. It is bad for you. The difference between life and time is that life explains living as the basis of freedom by the choices we make. Time, on the other hand, expresses your choice and your desires by the consequence of what your own human truth will bring. Do you understand the difference? It means that, we have the freedom, but if you use the freedom inappropriately, there will be a cost. Being alive means you understand life is being created by your own choice. It is no game and it deserves respect. Every living thing on this planet is a miracle. There's no such thing as evolution. It's a foundation lie, created by those who simply want the power to ruin your lives. And of course the university is in charge of that. Being human means that your choice is to want, and that comes with its own behaviors, rather than trusting in life itself as the value you search for. Or most people simply want what they want, or don't want what they don't want, rather than accept by the foundation that life has its own value, or it is the living that truly is what has value. But people want to create their own illusions and fantasies and desires and things, and so they create want and believe that they can be whatever they want regardless, as time will allow. Our experience is then created by our own decisions to live within the essence of truth itself, or discover that want has a road of its own. Where humanity forms that want, they become a herd seeking leaders, because the problem is that you find out that want is not enough to keep you alive. So you search for leaders to demanding, give us what we want. And of course the foundation of most human desire is make me rich. And the consequences of that are many. Nonetheless, the consequence of want is to divide yourselves from life by believing in whatever you want or don't want to or from existence to be. In other words, if you want to believe in God, you do. If you want to believe heaven is, you get to play God or whatever it is, you do. If you want to believe in hell, you do or you don't. Whatever it is that you want is what you want. And belief follows what you want. But that doesn't make it true. Fundamentally, truth is the laws which will keep us all alive on earth and protect our lives, our existence. With the truth of miracles that acknowledge the gift of respect is our duty. Every living thing is so complex and so dedicated to your own value that it absolutely cannot be a game of chaos, and it cannot be a game of accidents, and it cannot be anything that universities have created with evolution. There's absolutely none of it true. They just lie. So our choice is, by the freedoms a human body can and will or refuse to obey, we choose our own destiny. And that means that, nobody chooses for you. It is your destiny, your eternity, your life. And unless, hate has come and forced you to do something, it is your choice that mattered. I was married 2 years, and I am divorced. From that, that's been a long time ago. But the end result of it was that we did both make our own choices. I allowed her to make decisions that were bad for her and bad for me, and she allowed me to make decisions that were bad for her and bad for me as well. And the end result of it was our lives fell apart. So because of want. Anyway, destiny is the search for value by the acceptance of truth. Trusting truth shall decide, and our own acknowledgement of fundamental respect within that truth. If we don't respect each other, if we don't respect the gifts that we have, if we don't respect the body that we have, if we don't respect the consequence that we know will come. If you drive your car into a brick wall or a concrete wall at 100 miles an hour, most of us understand what will be the consequence of that. And it won't be good. But some people just drive it into the wall anyway. There are 1,000 different things for that. No respect means your life is chosen to be isolated from truth because you do not trust its value from inside your own heart. In other words, something happened along the way that made you believe that this was a bad choice, that love failed you, or heartache caused you trouble, and you don't want that to happen again. But the end result of it is that if you isolate yourself from truth, you end up with lies, and you end up with want, and you end up with beliefs that cannot be true, and the end result is bad for you. Don't do it. Heart means happiness was found here with you, whether that be another person or any other participation with miracles of life that do exist on this earth. It's heart means that you've opened yourself to the consequences of having some other living thing or some other living purpose in your life. And of course, that's both good and bad. It can go either way. Love is basically a commodity. If you give it to someone else, it becomes their own, and it is no longer yours, and that's what the heartache of love is about. So love means the value of our own mutual decision to share and care has been born in us. Whether we live with respect for each other is your own decision. Without respect, we have no relationship. It dies. But only truth will survive what existence demands from us both. In other words, you have to accept the idea that truth decides rather than you. You can't just have whatever it is you want. Truth has to decide what can be real for you. And for some it is much more valued than others because of the consequence of their lives, but that really just doesn't matter. Life is life. And beyond this time on earth, the idea of wealth doesn't exist. At least not in this world. Wealth is basically other people made slaves for you. That's basically what it is. And why should you have slaves? Why should you want slaves? And of course the end result of that is that you want people to do things for you rather than to do them for yourself. So try not to do that. Spirit means the entry into the laws which govern eternity. That's what it means. You've gone past time and been confronted with the laws that govern eternity. It's not free. You can only enter it when you're alive in time by invitation. And that invitation means that every lie inside of you will be removed. Some people do not survive that. Some people end up as, what do they call it, psycho something or other. It doesn't matter. It has a price. And if you enter in, you're going to face that price. And some will survive and some will not. Only truth, however, will survive, and that includes you if you have a majority of truth in you. Or when you die from time, when your body leaves you, life will be confronted with the reality of the spiritual world anyway. Death means that the body is abandoned, its time on earth as your life is over and will be recycled so another can try. Pride and power will be removed forever, which means one direction or the other is now the choice of your own truth. It is what you decided over your lifetime, what you made true by your choice. Eternity describes the formations of force which grant thought shall remain among the living, because the freedom of thought is elementally governed by its existence in truth. Without truth, thought doesn't exist. Without thought, truth doesn't exist. One is essentially the other, and we must have them both to be alive. So we share existence with our Creator, the one who made all things possible, including you, if your truth will allow that to be so. Existence, of course, beyond time means we have inherited life, which is to be understood as every truth has a consequence, and we must carefully choose what will become of our own contribution to this eternal life, or this eternal family of life. Or the consequence of that is you'll be denied participation with the rest, unless you learn. It's not just to give me everything that you could possibly want forever. There's no reason to believe that. It's false. Love, however, is valuable beyond measure, but it does not seek chaos as humans do. Purity is required of you. And people, of course, want to play games, and they want to seek participation in the herd and all kinds of things, which doesn't really work out. Every truth has a consequence, including you and yours. Everything you did from every point in your life that made a decision is your true identity. It's what made you you, and it has a consequence. Therefore, judgment, the end of your participation here, does exist. Your truth is going to decide, even beyond the point of no return, where isolation begins. The law is, no want, nor even love shall decide a judgment. Only truth does that. Only truth does that, makes a judgment. Because nothing less than truth is eternal. Therefore, we do understand your purity matters to you. So we have a problem with the reality of believers who believe that anything they want can be so, and it is not true. Only truth can survive eternity. Only truth can survive an outer space. Take a look beyond this world, beyond the governing of sunshine and so on, and understand it's just cold and space out there and some mass in between. And if we don't understand what is or is not valuable about that, what the laws are or are not about that, we cannot survive beyond time unless we are allowed to do so. I walked beyond this life, believe it or not, when I decided that there was nothing I could do. Men cannot save this world, and I'm not going to go to war with them. So I walked beyond the point of time, so to speak, into the spiritual world. And if you can believe that or not, I don't care. But anyway, at the point where time stops, there is an abyss, and you cannot go beyond it unless you are invited to do so. You must be invited to do so because you cannot go beyond it. So I was told I was not done yet. Don't give up yet. Turn back and find a way. So I turned back, and if men cannot keep this world alive, that only leaves women. You can't depend on children, certainly not going to have animals and what have you. It takes thought to create the future, and understanding that consequences have a cost. So looking at the female world or without reference to women here on earth who just wouldn't talk about it, what they would do for life and for a world. So I looked for and found the spiritual world of female. Believe it or not, knocked on their door and got pushed inside, and the end result is that they are a completely different force of life. It's just like men are push and women are pull. They're completely different. And so I was completely unable to understand that, and